Alright guys, Paul back here again with another replica belt unboxing this time, and let's take a look at this. So as you can see, this is a ridiculously sized box. There's only one belt in this. I did a 5 belt unboxing video that had a smaller box. Let's take a look. This is a belt, obviously you see the description, you see the title, so you know what this is. But this is a belt I've not seen in quite a long time, and yeah, I'm very excited to actually get to own one of these again. This box is half empty. Alright, they've done a terrible job of packing this. Okay, if you didn't read the title, hopefully it's obvious enough what belt this is right off the bat. But I should say I got this belt off eBay. The box was half empty, so hopefully it's still in one piece. We'll find out momentarily. Right, if you haven't read the title of the video, if you haven't looked at the thumbnail or looked at the belt bag, you're in for a surprise. This is a WWE replica of the 2008 silver ECW heavyweight belt. This is a weird replica. It was one of those that was so unpopular at the time that it was around that it ended up getting sold really on a sale price towards the end of its run. I remember WWE and Wrestling Superstore had these for like $200 for years until they finally sold out. And nowadays, these things are so rare that they're going for I've seen them going for like 5 times that, which is mental. There's the belt bag, standard cloth ECW belt bag. Hit my light. And there is the belt. So, immediately, I know a lot of people hate this belt. I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's not the best looking belt. I mean, look at it. It's just this big silver mess. Oh, this is fun because this one's got a little bit of damage. So I'll get to talk about that in a minute. So right off the bat, I just want to clarify, this is the standard adult-sized version of the replica belt made by Figures Inc. /WWE. So it has the simulated leather strap and it has the metal plates. It's not the deluxe with the real leather strap, it's not the commemorative with the plastic plates, and it's not the Master Series of this, which had, again, an even better real leather strap. So yeah, this is standard adult-sized belt. And before I get into the details of the belt, I want to talk about something about silver plate belts from the mid-2000s. I've mentioned this in a video before about the WWE spinner belt, the US spinner belt, and the UFC heavyweight. These are all belts that had silver plates, or nickel plates as the real belts mostly did, but we'll refer to it as silver for the video. So these belts all had silver plates. There was an issue with the silver plates from Figures Inc. in the mid-2000s, as I don't know how well you'll be able to see this on camera. I'm not sure if it'll show up well, but what happened to these silver plates over time was they would start to turn pink almost, and that might sound a little bit weird and you probably can't see it on camera. I'm going to try get some close-up shots of this, but in areas, especially around these flames, especially around the border, kind of the areas where you're not going to be able to polish really. I don't know how best to describe this really. It's kind of the hard to reach areas, the corners, the crevices that are out of reach that you can see but you can't polish or clean. These areas on almost all of these belts, I've got spinners with the problem, I've got UFC with the problem, and I've got US spinners with the problem. They start to go pink or purple. Like I say, I'm hoping I will get some close-up shots that you'll be able to see this, but it is a defect on a lot of these old silver belts. So it's very difficult to find a replica of the US spinner or the silver ECW belts that were fully silver, they're actually in good condition anymore. I've seen people where the situation is that they have to have the whole belt replated, which is just, if anyone's considering, that's not something you want to be doing. It will cost more. It costs more than buying a brand new belt. But with belts like the US spinner and this one, because the replicas are no longer available as brand new, a lot of people are resorting to completely replating the belt. And yeah, it's not something I recommend, but it is the only way essentially to get it back to brand new, if not better condition than brand new. But yeah, I hope the close-up shots are showing this. There's some around the flames. When I say pink, it's not like a candy bright pink. It's not like what's on. Oh, the Divas belt's gone. Where'd it go? It's not what's on the Divas belt. It's not something like that. It's just it's a hint of pink against the silver that you'll be able to see. So hopefully I've made that clear. There's a little bit of browning around this side plate on the right as well, which is to be expected. I should mention, I'm not disappointed in this. I knew these belts got damaged all the time. It's actually in better condition than I expected it to be. The strap's pretty shit, but I'll re-leather it anyway eventually. So so that's not a big deal. But I've spoken about the plating issues, so let's do a quick run through of the belt. So, looking at the left-hand side of the belt, obviously, I don't need to mention this is a wide strap belt. This was, I think, the first wide strap belt WWE reintroduced before the penny tags again. But yeah, it was very controversial at the time. I know a lot of people don't like this belt because of the wide cut. I've seen people do shortened and tighter cuts, which look all right, but this belt kind of, it needs the wide cut. It looks weird with any tighter cut, in my opinion. It does have a 2x7 male snap set here. There's no snap box itself. The belt that was used on TV actually wasn't made by a belt maker. I believe it was made by a Hollywood props maker, the ones who made the cast copies of the WCW Big Gold that WCW used towards the end of their tenure. I believe that's the company that did this belt, the real one on TV, and the real one had a massive curve. It looks nothing like that's one of the problems with this replica. It's very flat. It's not completely flat, but the real belt was curved like crazy, so it would have been nice to see this replicate that, but unfortunately not. And like I was saying, this doesn't have any tooling because it was made by this Hollywood props department. It was simply a black leather strap with stitching going around the border. So, for once, a Figures Inc. WWE Replica belt strap was actually pretty accurate because it's simply no tooling and a stitched border. So, it's what it's supposed to look like. They got it right for once. This does have kind of a 3D domed globe, and all the flames on this are 3D in that they're not flat and they're not different levels. They've kind of got curves to them. And it does look really good. It's a weird design. I'm not going to pretend that it's a beautiful belt design. It's weird. We've got the iron crosses all around it. We've kind of got the razor blade, the ECW logo there with what I think is a saw blade intended to be behind it. Right, talking about the center plate. Like I already mentioned, the real belt that was on TV had a massive curve. So the annoying thing is the belt kind of looks... It doesn't look very accurate, even though the design will be. It's just the fact that the curve was up to like there on the real belt, so it would have been nice to replicate. The border, as you can see, kind of this, what's the best way to describe it? This kind of teeth pattern, these kind of sharp spikes around the border. They're quite nicely raised up actually, so it does create a nice effect to the plate kind of below it and inside of it. So yeah, the border's really thick. I should mention the plates are about 7mm thick on the outside of the center plate. The ECW logo and the Phoenix on the inside are obviously stacked about another 9-10mm on top. The WWE logo on this is really nice as well. It is something that always annoyed me because it's slightly squint. It looks really odd, the fact that it is just ever so slightly off angle. But it is a raised up piece, so it does look actually really nice. And of course, we've got the Phoenix in the middle with the ECW logo. Unfortunately, it is the ECW logo without the barbed wire, which always looked so empty. In my opinion, at least, I always thought it looked really empty without the barbed wire. But the detail on it is fantastic. I'm not going to take away from this belt. It's not my favourite belt design. It's far from my least favourite belt design, though. But I do appreciate the detail that is achieved on this replica. And those Phoenix flame wings, in particular, are probably the most impressive part of this belt. Like I mentioned, it's not the fact that they're not 2D etched, that one bit's raised, one bit's lower. It's 3D, so it's got curves to it. So every flame has kind of a flowing waviness to it, if that makes sense. The rest of the belt is a little bit shallower. You can still hear the detail catching against my nails there, but it's a good belt. It's a really decent belt. If you're looking for one and you can find one that's not crazy priced, then definitely pick it up. You're going to struggle to get one in decent condition, unfortunately. You can probably tell without me pointing out the logo especially has got a lot of marks on it. I forgot to say there's actually a nameplate on this belt as well. One of the weird, like, I think the Divas belt was similar, that it had the nameplate above the word champion, which I always thought, it's a non-issue, but I always thought it was weird, because if you read the belt, like, around, like, someone that doesn't know what it's supposed to be would read it being like, oh, it's World Wrestling Entertainment, ECW, Mark Henry champion. What's a Mark Henry champion? It means you're a fucking idiot. You can't read the belt properly. But, you know, people will do that, so, what am I talking about? Okay, I'm going to flip the belt over, we'll take a look at the back, and we'll finish this video, because I'm rambling about this belt, and I'm not exactly sure why. And there we go, there's the back of the belt. So, standard simulated strap. You've got the standard vinyl that's on the back there. All the screws are still intact, and those two smaller screws are, of course, for removing the nameplate. And like I mentioned, it is a 2008 Figures Inc. replica belt. But yeah, a really decent belt. It's quite a heavy belt as well, actually, mind you. I will say, it is a very decent replica. I don't dislike this belt at all. It's a belt, like I mentioned at the start, that I've wanted to own for a long time again. Holy shit, there's a lot of scratches on it from this angle. That is a very bad condition belt. Disappointing. What was I saying? Yeah, it's a belt that I've wanted for a long time. If you can pick up, like I said, for a good price, then definitely jump on it. But unfortunately, these belts are becoming rare, and because of that, the prices are skyrocketing. It's certainly not as valuable as other belts that are selling for similar prices. So if you're in the market for one, maybe hold off for a while, because I'm sure they'll dip again. Buy the dip. It's good advice. I don't know how I'm finishing this video, so we will end it there, because I need a drink of water because my voice is starting to go. People power. Fucking hilarious, aren't I? Right, I am going to end this video there. If you enjoyed this, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel. People have been doing it recently. Oh, my voice went there as well. People have been doing that recently, and it has genuinely helped. And you can get to watch more videos of me like this talking shit about a belt that probably no one cares about. That being said, thank you for watching. Cheers.
Yo, monkeys, it's me, DDP. And if you want to get one of the greatest belts made for you, go to Paulmartinbelts. That's right, sucker.